Hey, what's up YouTube? I told you I got a motorcycle, so I got a bunch of motorcycle gear vids coming up. One of the most important pieces of gear that you can wear is a helmet, of course, and a good helmet. This is so this will be just a short overview of one kind of helmet that you might be interested in and why you might be interested in it. This is a Schuberth C3 in the Hi-Viz yellow. So why Hi-Viz? Well, I live in the greater Boston area, so people are really distracted by cell phones, texting, just having their head up their ass. So the more visible you can be, the better. Certainly the highest point on the bike is your head. So this thing, when it's on your head, really will stand out quite nicely. This Hi-Viz is actually, Hi-Viz yellow is actually used by law enforcement, highway workers, etc. So they're readily seen, or it's easier to see them. One of the reasons why this is so easily seen is because this color yellow actually irritates your eyes, or is irritated to the human eye, so your brain picks it up as something. The C3, it's sort of last year's version or so of the Schuberth Modular line. The C3 Pro is the new version. Generally considered a very high quality helmet. It's a modular helmet, which means that there's a little button here. I press the button and the chin guard comes up, right? So this is very convenient for when you want to get gas, if you wanted to take a drink of water or something like that. It's pretty hard to do. So it sort of fulfills a lot of the safety requirements of a full-faced helmet. This just locks down, but it has that modularity, which is a little bit more convenient. Modular helmets, there's several makers of them. I think the Schuberth is certainly among the best, if not the best. These guys invented the modular helmet, and it's a very sturdy design what they've come up with here. These aren't suitable for track days. Modular helmets generally are not allowed, but this thing is every bit as strong, at least by the testing data, as most full-face helmets are, and for riding it will do just fine. It's got a lot of features that make it a very nice helmet. It is super comfortable. So let's talk about comfort for a second. The biggest thing for a helmet is fit. You got to get a helmet that fits you right. Okay, so you can study this online. You can figure out the shapes and all that stuff based on. Not everybody's head is shaped the same way. The Schuberth line is sort of an intermediate oval. This fits my head rather well, but you got to kind of go try them on. Go try them on, see what fits you best. Schuberth is definitely top of the line. These guys have been making helmets since like the 1920s. They've made helmets for the German military, motorcycles for a very long time. So they know what they're doing in terms of protecting your noodle. The visors, this is a cool feature. The visor has a bunch of detents in it, so you can open it to different degrees. It's got a nice viewing area. It's pin lock ready, so that means it's anti-fog. What pin lock is, you can see there's two pins here and here. In this visor, there's actually a second visor. I don't know how well you can see that here, but you see that? There's actually a second visor in here. So there's actually a layer of air between this visor and the external visor. And what that does, that layer of air prevents fogging. This thing will not fog up on you. This is much better than any sort of applied product on the shield to keep it from fogging. There's lots of other settings as well. You can leave this, if it's not latched down all the way, it will let air in. It's called like highway mode or something like that. So it'll give you all the protection from rocks, bugs, and all that other stuff, so getting in your eyes or your face, but it'll give you good airflow. You can also go ahead and lock that down. So that's one way to get some ventilation in the helmet. So let's talk about ventilation. Of course, there's just manual moving the shield. There's a single vent here on the chin that directly vents back up through here to the visor into your face. Okay, this works quite well. Then there's another another vent here. There's two positions, closed, halfway open, and open. And there's two, I guess they're 1 centimeter holes here that vent into the helmet, so air is taken up here. This is more of a touring, sport touring sort of configuration of a helmet. It's basically means that the way this helmet is designed aerodynamically and to be able to give ventilation, it's for that kind of riding position. All right. So this will vent very well to keep your head cool. It's going to be hard to look inside the helmet because of lighting considerations. The way the liners are in the helmet, you can actually see there's two channels here, the gray parts here that the openings on the top vent to. You'll get an airstream over your head, and it'll actually come out down here. This mesh here is actually the exhaust. Okay, so it's good ventilating, good ventilation all around. The comfort liner is super plush and comfortable. It's just gorgeous. Schuberth makes top of the line stuff. It's great. The other really cool thing about this helmet, and one of the reasons why I really decided to go this way, was this feature right here, an internal sun visor. So it's built in. This thing works amazingly well. So I have a lot of really nice sunglasses. Most of them have now been scratched because I abuse them. But this thing, I can tell you, is optically the highest quality you can get. Okay, so it's on the level of, for instance, a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses or something like that. That kind of optical clarity, if not better. And it's got a nice strong system. This thing's not going to come down. It's not going to go up. It's going to stay in place. There's the way this system's designed. You can look all that up. This isn't supposed to be a comprehensive view, just an overview of this helmet. Comfort's outstanding. It's I think, if not the quietest, or was the quietest helmet on the market in a modular design. Part of the reason actually is because of how it controls wind. You can see here the way the neck roll is. There's actually a relatively small opening, so this thing really goes around your neck. There's a screen here that goes underneath your chin. So when you have this on, you are pretty well sealed in here, and most of the noise you'll hear in a helmet, and I'll tell you, when you start cruising along 70, 75 miles an hour, the noise from the wind is significant, and if you can get away with not wearing earplugs, it's better. In the long run, it's better. If you ever worn earplugs for a long time, you'll know what I'm talking about. This prevents that wind from getting up in the helmet and causing a lot of noise. The chin strap is a ratchet style, which I really like. Basically, you put it on, okay, and then you just pull that red tab and this thing comes off, right? So it's very easy to operate with gloves. I use all the protective gear I can get. I'm old enough to understand stupid, and old enough to not care if I look cool, because I'm totally beyond looking cool. But I'm pretty cool when you get right down to it for an old guy. But so, you know, wearing the gloves, it's a pain in the ass with the double D ring sometimes, although that's a good design too. And it's a very tried and true design. This is more something you see on European helmets. As I said, this helmet's made in Germany. Let's talk one more piece about this chin strap. You see this chin strap here, there's actually an anti-roll-off system. This strap actually extends to the back of the helmet on both sides and comes to two rivets here in the outer shell. What that actually does when you put it on, it fastens it around sort of the sides of your head, underneath your ears, right, below your jawline, and then of course around your neck. What that does is prevent the helmet from rolling off in the event of a crash. You do not want a helmet coming off in the event of a crash. So the other features you can see, this thing was designed in a wind tunnel. There's these little bumps here on the visor. These are, those little guys actually are turbulettes. And what they do is break up the wind coming over your head, so it prevents your head from getting pushed back. Remember, you're gonna be in a 50, 60, 70, 80 mile an hour windstorm when you get on a motorcycle. So you want to have a helmet that's designed to cut through that wind pretty nicely. There's reflective panels actually inside the shield. Right here is one, and there's one on the other side. The Schuberth logo is reflective. There's reflective material on the sides as well, and the logo in the back is reflective as well, which is good for night riding. And there's two panels here that are reflective, and this is sort of what it would look like if it was on your head, right? So your head would be in there, so that's what you would look like from behind, and it's quite reflective. Nice helmet. All right, so why a full face helmet? Well, this isn't really a full face, it's a modular. It sort of is the best of both worlds, an open face and a full face. The nice thing about a modular, as I said, is the convenience, right? You go get some gas, you don't feel like taking off your helmet, you just lift it up. It's easier to communicate with people. And if you want to get a drink of water or something like that, you don't have to necessarily take your helmet off. I should also mention really quickly, Schuberth sells a system where you can actually replace this neck roll, and it's got a Bluetooth device with headphones and a microphone in it for allow you to communicate if you're touring with other people or to use your cell phone, etc., etc. There's actually spaces on either side underneath the comfort lining to accommodate those headphones. Why a full face helmet or a modular design? Well, if you look at accident statistics in motorcycles, I think it's somewhere around 30% of your impacts are actually here and here. Okay, there's relatively few impacts on the top of your head, but so if you hopefully never happen, but if you did fall off, you tend to go skidding across your chin. So it's a good idea to have this. A lot of guys don't use them, but it's your head. You paid your quarter, so make your choice. All right, the Schuberth C3. I'll give you some close-ups of this baby. It's a great helmet. You can see the German engineering at work here. This thing is well thought out. It's extremely comfortable, assuming it fits your head shape, and performs the vital function of protecting you in a crash from serious traumatic brain injury. All right, that's what I got for you. Take it easy.